Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. As you can see, Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. And for this particular video, ladies and gentlemen, let me know the name of your ward. For example, I come from Market Milimani ward in Kisumu Central. Ladies and gentlemen, what is Raila Odinga's game plan for 2027? That has been the biggest question since the year began, because Raila Odinga embarked on an elaborate 9-day campaign tour of the Luhya Nation and the coastal region. And Raila Odinga's 6-day tour of the coastal region is coming to an end today in Mombasa. And I've been following Raila Odinga's activities in the coastal region. And clearly, Raila Odinga is likely to be on the ballot in 2027. He is under a lot of pressure to be on the ballot. And yesterday, the governor from Mombasa, Abdulswamad Nassir, made it very clear that Raila Odinga's 2027 presidential bid is non-negotiable. That statement is significant, politically speaking, because Abdulswamad Nassir is now emerging as Raila Odinga's main man in the coastal region. He's accompanied Raila Odinga in almost all his political activities since Raila Odinga began his tour in Western Kenya. He was in Kisumu. He has accompanied Raila Odinga in all the counties of the coastal region. So let us listen to Abdulswamad Nassir making that declaration, because in this video, from that declaration, I want us to look at three main things. The first thing I want us to look at is Raila Odinga's game plan for 2027. The second thing I want us to look at is how will Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance and the partners for that matter react to the declaration that Raila Odinga will be on the ballot in 2027. And the third thing I want us to look at in this video is whether Raila Odinga can actually defeat Ruto in 2027 if he insists on being on the ballot. But first of all, let us listen to Abdulswamad Nassir making that declaration. It's a bit long. I think it's about 4 minutes. So just listen very keenly to what he's trying to say. Listen in.
Habari vikiweka headline yao, Raila hints at presidency for 2027. Raila anaonesha ishara ya kuwa atasimama kura mwaka wa 2027. Baba, mimi hujanipatia jukumu kuwa mzungumzaji mkuu wa ODM. Hujanipatia jukumu la kuwa msemaji wa Raila Amolo Odinga. Lakini ulinipa jukumu la kuwa msemaji wa wana Mombasa, wa Pwani na wa Kenya kwa jumla. Na sisi, asante vuvuzela, sisi baba, kile tunakiomba, we are not asking, we are not requesting, we are not pleading. We, the people of Kenya, if there's a better word, are saying we are commanding you to vie for presidency for the year 2027. Hatuombi, haturai, hatufanyi jambo lolote, lakini tunakwambia, tunakuamuru kama wa Kenya ya kuwa ni lazima uwe katika ballot ya mwaka 2027. Kwa sababu hatujaona yule ambaye anaweza kuweka matakwa yake kando na akaweza kuweka Wakenya mbele. Jameni, kama kuna mtu ambaye anafaa kuombewa Mungu umri wake katika hii Kenya na ni mwanasiasa, ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Baba, mimi katika jukwaa hili nilelekea njia hii. Pengine sura zilioko hapa zilikuwa ni zile zile, Mimi nilikuja na nikawaomba na nikawarai hawa waungwana hapa, nikawaambia tafadhalini, njia ni baba, tafadhalini, njia ni Raila Amolo Odinga, tafadhalini, mwelekeo ni huu wa Azimio chini ya Raila Amolo Odinga. Lakini Waswahili wanasema mwiba wa kujichoma hivyo hivyo. Huyu sasa hivi akiinuka Raila Amolo Odinga, umri wake, na Mungu amjalie zaidi, umri wake hata kama ni kusema yotaka kujitetea yeye, mwamsingizia. Na kama hatozungumza yeye, nitazungumza mimi, na kuna wengi ambao kwamba sauti yangu inazungumza kwa niaba yao, lakini wako kimya, hawajui jinsi ya kuweza sauti yao kusikika. Baba, mimi my parting shot is very simple. We, the people of Kenya, hereby declare unanimously that you will be on the ballot paper of the year 2027, and we will be able to overcome these burdens in this country. Asanteni sana na mubarikiwe.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa.
And just like I keep on telling you on this platform, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. That statement by Abdulswamad Nassir was intended to achieve particular political objectives. And of course, the objectives, in my view, has been achieved. So I want us to go through all those details. Before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. By the way, look, ikoaje leo. I'm going for some funeral in Kano. One of my friends, Jeff Aguko, lost the mother. So the burial is today around Ndoro, so I'll be there. Hopefully we'll be back on time again. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin by looking at Raila Odinga's game plan. In my view, based on my own observation, the activities Raila Odinga is engaging in are intended, number one, to lay the ground for a possibility of Raila Odinga's presidential bid again in 2027. And if you are to be honest, some of us have been supporting Kalonzo, but I've been thinking, really, is this serious? If I've not seen a potential presidential candidate in the last 1 week, is this serious? But Raila Odinga is moving around and is gauging the ground. His strongholds are receptive of his bid. In fact, you can even read the comments here. Most of people here believe that Raila Odinga is the only viable candidate for 2027. So maybe Raila Odinga is laying the ground for another bid for the presidency. Whether he's going to win or not, that one I don't want to discuss. Number two, Raila Odinga could also be raising stakes for negotiations. Because sometimes politics is about interest. They'll figure out where will our interest be served. If I go for this, Kalonzo goes for this, Martha Karua goes for this, all of us, we are going to lose. But if you make some sacrifices, then ultimately, at least we can get something. Hata mkia ya ng'ombe ni nyama. So they can get something. So for you to not to get mkia upate ile nini mzuri, then you have to raise the stakes. You can only raise the stakes by going to the ground. You know, it's very sad, for example, that people like Martha Karua are no longer there. But you'll always see them on the table. You don't see them moving around. Kalonzo is not moving around. So Raila is raising the stakes so that in case of a negotiation, he'll come from a point of strength. Number three, could be Raila Odinga is also keen on strengthening the ODM party. Because in the last election, ODM as a political party was not strengthened. They focused more on Azimio. So Raila Odinga, in my view, wants to make ODM party more attractive for aspirants. The moment ODM party becomes more attractive for aspirants because the ground is hostile for those who are opposed to it, then automatically the party will get that visibility. And maybe he also wants the party to be strong, so that in case you go for an election, ODM as a political party will win more seats, governors, MPs, blah blah, and that will add to what is normally the biggest funding for the parties, which is political parties funds. And of course, even with a strong political parties presence in parliament, good for them. And you never know, maybe Raila Odinga also is keen on strengthening the ODM party, so that in case of anything, the ODM will still stand there. So for me, the game plan are those. But how will Azimio partners react to the possibility of Raila Odinga being on the ballot? When Raila Odinga was in Tana River, he was in Tana River and Lamu, he stated something that a strong ODM, a strong Wiper, a strong Kenya is good for Azimio, which is the truth. So which means even Raila Odinga is trying to be cautious in his approach. But how will Azimio partners react? For me, the best reaction from them is, number one, to up their games. If I were to advise Kalonzo Musyoka, I'd advise Kalonzo Musyoka to start liaising with his MPs, because Kalonzo Musyoka has members of parliament. Then these members of parliament can organize events in their constituencies. Then Kalonzo Musyoka can attend. Alternatively, because I know Raila Odinga already opened the door for Kalonzo, he can liaise with ODM MPs. Let's say the ones from Western, the way Sosi organized for him some event there. He can go to an ODM MP from Kisii, organize event. Then he attends those events. Karua can do the same, so that they up their games. Because if they don't do that, Kenyans will not take them seriously. In fact, most of Raila Odinga supporters will not take these guys seriously. Because Raila Odinga supporters are people who love politics. What Raila Odinga is currently doing for them is what they love. Number two, they can take a wait and see approach and see how all this thing is panning out, which is also very critical for them. Wait and see. And lastly, they can strengthen also their individual political parties. What stops Martha Karua, for example, from convening national official meetings of the party? Then let them call the delegates conference meeting, talk to the delegates, agree on something. Kalonzo the same. The other day I saw Kalonzo Musyoka meeting his party officials. I don't know whether it was his home or where, but that's another thing they can do. They can also decide to strengthen their individual political parties, because that is what Azimio supporters expect. But can Raila Odinga defeat Ruto in 2027? I've always opined on this platform that William Ruto is the easiest president to defeat in 2027. Because William Ruto made promises, not working. The state of economy, not favoring him. In fact, today I was just reading in the papers that they want to introduce toll stations on several roads. So which means they're continuing to burden Kenyans. Can Raila defeat him? Yes or no? So it depends. But the first thing which can determine whether Raila can defeat him is the winning formation. Which formula can Raila Odinga use? Assuming Azimio goes its separate ways. Where will Raila get the Kamba vote? Because that Kamba vote is what will determine the fate of Raila. You remove Kamba vote, I don't see. Maybe somewhere else, but the formation, the political formation, the winning formula. So which means Kalonzo Musyoka must be part of the equation for that matter. Number two, an elaborate vote protection unit. Very, very important, because in the last election, Azimio took the issue of vote protection casually. They expected the systems to work. Systems don't work. Systems work for the people. Systems work for the people. So they must come up with an elaborate voter protection unit, so that if Raila Odinga gets 0 votes in a polling station and Ruto gets 50, that should be what is announced. 0, 50. Not Raila being given 5, but Ruto given 100. Not that. Vote protection. Number 3, financial resources. The 2027 election is going to be one of the most expensive elections in the Republic of Kenya. Kenya Kwanza has failed. William Ruto understands that he needs to be the president again. So what will they do? They'll pump money. They know they can easily pump money on Kenyans, and the Kenyans will laugh. And of course, the issue of agents has been an issue. can Raila Odinga manage to have agents in all the polling stations? And lastly, Raila and Azimio, for that matter, must make peace with the US and British government. Raila Odinga must start figuring out how he's going to try to appeal to the US government and to the British government, because William Ruto is already committing mistakes. William Ruto wants to please the Russian government, he wants to please the BRICS, he wants to work with the US. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, so Raila must figure out how best can he make peace with the US government and British government, because those are the two countries that have always stopped him from becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya, including in the last election. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you watched it up to this particular stage. Bye-bye.